Right, let's go over to Sue and see more with Sue because I know she's got loads and loads of ideas for us. Right, Sue?
Great. Okay, I've got this little one here. And take this one. It reminds me of a sort of a nutmeg grater.
Yeah, it does remind you of that a little bit.
Yeah, that texture. I'm going to use the tags along with this because I think this is a terrific concept as well, that you can use, you know, tags, and the long tags make bookmarks. So this particular one fits on 2 tags, the very big one and this medium one. So we're going to use the medium one, and I'm going to die cut this from craft card, and then you end up with that.
Okay.
And then what I want to do is to now die cut this into the craft card, and I should do that to show you how beautiful these do die cut. They're excellent quality anyway. And I'll just show as well, it's a good tip if you've got something intricate to put it on the side, either side of your cutting plate, because that's where most pressure is. A bit more pressure there than in the centre. So I'll pass that through and I'm going to run it back towards me again. Twice is quite handy, and also it's easier to reach.
Okay, and those holes are cut absolutely perfectly, aren't they?
They have, yes, yes.
Because you've got the die, and we kind of get that lovely sort of beveled edge with the die from the face of it, you know.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah.
I love this sort of added texture, even the subtleness of it. So there are quite a few of these still laying in the holes, but they come out.
Actually,
out
one of those brushes would be really good with that, wouldn't it? One of those little roller brushes would get them out perfectly.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've got one here that I've poked out all the holes.
Yeah.
And let's get stitching. So I'm going to use some yellow. So this is the normal embroidery skeins.
Okay. Now, if you do any sort of cross stitch or embroidery, and you've got just ends of rolls, ends of skeins, you know, little scraps, these are going to be perfect, aren't they? Your little cards, your tags, small bits of detail. When you're not working to a chart, a specific chart, you can go with anything.
Yes, you can. Yeah, use up all your scraps, even to die cut, you know, scraps of card. I kind of want to have a go like just on a recognisable sort of cereal packet or something, and just cross stitch over that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've split the sewing thread into 2, so you get 3 strands instead of the 6.
I'm just going to give the details actually for those dies that you're just using there. So we can see here on the screen 732777. You've got lots of different sizes with those labels there as well, those tags. Wonderful set. Again, only $14.99. Oh, I just want everything. So back to you.
Okay, so I suggest you start at the top of your design, because if you start at the bottom, you're pressing on it and holding it with your oil of your fingers could sort of get onto the card and onto the stitches and squash them. So I kind of suggest working from the top. You don't need to knot the back, just grip it and hold it in place. And you sort of eventually sew in those ends anyway.
Okay.
And I'm starting from just below. You don't have to stitch everything, the whole area.
I've got to ask you, do you do cross stitch normally?
Oh, I did loads when I was at school, when I was a lot younger.
Did you?
And I loved it, and I could spend hours doing it. And I've so thoroughly enjoyed having another play.
I bet when you saw these, you were in your element then.
Yeah, yeah. It brings back memories, and I just love sewing. And I love sewing through paper. I love the sound it makes. And it's ideal, because if you die cut 200 to 300 GSM, then it's nice and rigid, and it's easier to hold than the Ada fabric.
That is very true. You don't need to worry about the rings, do you? You can pick it up, put it down, make your own designs, personalise things.
It's so quick, yeah.
Great for your little albums as well. I mean, you could do the whole front cover, couldn't you? You could cut out, I suppose, with the larger ones, there's a specific, well, not specifically the square, but especially with the square, could you tape them together and stitch over the joins as well? I suppose you could, couldn't you?
Yeah, or die cut
make it a much
2 next to each other and make a massive one.
Of course, you could line the holes up, couldn't you?
Again, yeah. So to do the basic cross-stitch stitch, you basically stitch in rows, just diagonal stitches from bottom left to top right. So look at your stitches as a set of 4 holes in a square. And you do all of these diagonal lines stitching first.
Okay.
And then you go back and cross over to make the cross with this diagonal stitch going bottom right to top left.
I so want to go and do this.
More download images are these emojis, which I think are terrific and great for sort of mail cards as well.
Definitely.
Isn't that lovely?
Teenagers would love that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah. And if you look at the back should be, you know, quite neat really if you do it well, and you end up with lots of sort of horizontal stitches. So yeah, so that's just to show you.
Perfect.
So let's make a card with this emoji image. So as you say, I'm going to cut the tag as well out of red card, and it's a lovely shape, isn't it? It's a lovely tag shape, and as you say, you can fix that on the back to hide the stitches, but I quite like to just show like another tag behind, just to add a bit of bring in a bit of colour. And then I also want to add some yarn and these tassels as well.
Now, we haven't seen these live yet. These are another great idea.
Yes, they are. And they kind of go with everything as well. So I'm going to cut these from a piece of craft card.
Okay.
And you can cut them with pattern paper and all sorts. Okay, so when you die cut that, you end up with one of these.
Okay.
Which is a little, it reminds me of grass. So I'm just going to curl this slightly in my fingers.
Yeah, it's worth spending a bit of time curling them, isn't it?
Yeah, it just brings it to life.
You could make stamens out of those.
Yes, you could, yeah. Because it's basically how you make stamens, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just roll it up.
Not having to worry about cutting, are you? It's all done for you.
And I'm going to unroll it now and then add some glue.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring in some lovely fine twine.
Oh, that is a nice twine.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It's a nice smooth one.
Yes, it's lovely and fine as well. It's great. I use it a lot. So I'm going to wrap the string within it. Actually, I should put a little bit more glue at the beginning just to try and catch the string. And then wrap it round. And this one's quite clever because it's on the diagonal.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So you actually end up with different levels of your tassel strings.
And I suppose you could wind that either way for different effects. Or would it
You
only...
could.
Would it work?
Well, you wind it from the square end, so you end up with this nice piece, rounded finish here.
Okay,
so if you did it the other way, you might end up with the square end, but that doesn't matter.
You could wrap some thread around the top as well, especially if you're putting these on your projects to go with your cross stitch. So a little bit of the cross stitch thread around the top of the tassel would look really good. You could have beads and all sorts on them.
You could really go to town, yeah. Adam had a good idea.
It's going to cost me a fortune.
Yesterday, he said you could dip them in a bit of glue and then pop them in your glitter and have like glittery ends.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. So I've got my two tassels on the end of my twine. Actually, let's tie a knot in it first.
I reckon you could, because you get two different sizes as well, you could put them together. You could put the smaller one in the centre and the larger one outside, or vice versa, so you can get chunkier tassels as well.
I'd quite like to make a tassel garland and make loads of them and string them up.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Or hang them from the bottom of your bunting, especially if you've got bunting with the, the pointy ones.
Yeah.
That would look good as well.
Nice addition to paper bunting, yeah. OK, I've got a craft card blank here that's 14.5 centimetres square.
OK.
And I've got a matted layer here on foam pads that I'm going to add and bring in that black colour.
Lovely.
And then I've just tied a knot in my string. Actually, I should put a bit of glue on the back there just to hold that in place.
I don't know if you know the answer to this question. I'm going to probably put you on the spot again, but I'm just thinking about the tassels again.
Yeah.
Could we cut fabric if it's a fine fabric? Will they cut through? Have you tried?
Yeah, well, all dyes can cut through fabric, can't they? If you've got that metal shim.
Okay.
and felt fabric and things like that.
Yeah, and your foam as well.
They are excellent quality, so they should give it a go.
I'm just thinking of little embellishments for your bags, and well, I'm going back to Pat and Matt, thinking of the scrap boxes and the scrap bags as well. You could make little fabric tassels to go on all your projects. If you're a paper crafter and didn't see the 7 o'clock show, we're back at 11, but we had lots of sellouts on the scrap boxes and bags. I'm just thinking, as a paper crafter, you'd make use of those.
Yeah, definitely give it a go. I think I must give it a go. Yes. Okay, I've put my red tag on foam pads as well, and I'm just slotting a few foam pads under my craft one. Like that. And then I'd want these strings to go in a specific way. Let's see. Curl that one there and have that one just coming down there.
It's such a fun card, isn't it?
And I just need a blob of glue just to hold it in place. Might have to keep my finger on it for a while. And I've got a little space there just to put, like, I don't know, to my son or something, or to Dad.
Yes, use your stamps, handwrite on there. You've got all those options.
So I think that this makes quite an unusual mail card, especially if you do get well into your cross-stitching.
I'm even thinking, if you double up those tags and put them on your luggage, if you're going away, you know, when you're trying to spot your suitcase, cross-stitch yourself a little face or something that you can spot easily. I would definitely double up on the tags to make them a little bit stronger. But yeah, your name could go on there, your initials could go on there. They'd look great fun.
Yeah.
I love that. So that is such a brilliant idea. I like how do you know, everything about that, even how you've looped that string, that twine. You're going to have to show me how you did that. Yeah,
just a bit different rather than putting it through traditionally.
I've never seen it loop like that before, I don't think.
I just like the look of the knot at the front.
Yeah, that's very clever indeed.